Yeah, good morning, students and all the learners and interested parties. It's another day. Welcome again to this channel as we continue analyzing the business data. And today we are looking at a question or the workbook that was done in April 2024 for the business data analysis. And we had in this case or in this time round they changed the format. Yeah, the format of testing was a little bit different because ideally we had three sections. Yeah, section 1 which carries 20 marks, which was theoretical as usual. Then we have section 2. The previous sittings we had only two questions for compulsory, carrying 60 marks, 30 marks each. But this time they tested three questions, and the main reason of the three questions is because you can remember the management accounting from this year. It became a compulsory unit. Yeah, management accounting became a compulsory unit, and because management accounting is a compulsory unit, so now we have three core areas under the section 2, each core area carrying 20 marks. That's why we have three questions whereby the student was supposed to answer all the three questions. The question testing on financial management. In this case, yeah, we had financial management testing on question 21 was for financial reporting and accounting. Question 22 was for financial management, where we had the ratios, yeah, where they were requiring the dashboard. And question number 23, it was all about the management accounting. So the three questions under the core area, each carrying 20 marks, which accounted for 60 marks. Then part 3, we had two questions. Part 3, and you're supposed only to answer one among the two questions. So the two specialization now, one for the area of taxation and the other one for the area of auditing. So we had a question on auditing and a question on taxation. And this time round, we find that they covered in the area of taxation, they covered VAT. Yeah, which was almost out of what we are required to cover. But VAT, because it is taxation, VAT, they are assuming still you can remember the concept of the VAT. So those are the five questions that were tested apart from the part 1 for the theoretical. So core area 3 questions and the specialization area 2 questions. We just require to do a single question. All these questions we shall be able to tackle. We shall be able to tackle them. And for today, we shall tackle this question for management accounting. The question on management accounting, which was part of the specialization area, part of the specialization area. And just to inform you that we have begun, or we are beginning our semester, the May to August semester, and we are planning for the BDA lessons or classes. Yeah, so that at least by 20th of this month, by 20th of May, we should have begun. Yeah, we need to start the BDA lessons. Normally do it on online, and those who are around, we do it physically. So we have the two modes, the online and the physical mode. So if you are watching this, you are a viewer, you are interested, we shall leave the contact under the description so that you can be able to enroll with us and learn with the best. So we look at the question. Yeah, question number 23. They're saying this one was based on management accounting. So the question reads, Sunrise Limited manufactures office cabinet for both local and export market. The following data relates to the cost of production of an office cabinet. Selling price per unit is 10,000 shillings. Variable cost per unit is 5 million, and total fixed cost is 50 million. Yeah, so variable cost is 5,000, selling price 10,000, fixed cost of 50 million. So required in batches of 1,000 units, determine the break-even point in units using a graph. Yeah, we need the break-even point in units using a graph. Indicate the profit zone and the loss zone in your graph. So we need to indicate the profit zone, and we also need to indicate what? The loss zone, profit zone and the loss zone in our graph. So you'll find that we know how to calculate the break-even point. How to calculate the break-even point, and the break-even point, in short, we normally call it the BEP. So BEP is equals to the shorter one, is a fixed cost, and you divide by what? Contribution margin. Contribution margin. Contribution margin. That is the shorter formula of calculating. And when you talk about the contribution margin, contribution margin. So contribution margin is normally the selling price, and you minus the variable cost. Selling price minus variable cost. Therefore, in short, in our case, therefore, the break-even point in units, will be equals to, in this case, our fixed cost. Remember our total fixed cost, we had it here, which was 50,000. We divide by, I will open the bracket, selling price minus variable cost. My selling price is 10, my variable cost is 5, and I will close that particular bracket, and I will enter, and you'll find that in this case our break-even point will be 10,000 units. So it's already in units, BP in units, that is 10,000 units. 10,000 units is our break-even point. But now we need to show this using graph, and we are dealing with the production in batches of 1,000. In batches of 1,000. The other thing you should remember is that at BEP, at break-even point, profit is equals to 0. Yeah, profit is 0. 0 because it's a point of 0 profit and 0 loss, where total revenue is equals to total cost. That's another point. Total revenue equals to total cost at the break-even point. So to get a graph, we need to have the production or the units. If you need to get this particular graph, so we shall have the units, and the units we're producing in batches of 1,000. Assuming you start with 3,000, just but an assumption, you can start with 3,000, 4,000, because the difference is 1,000. Yeah, difference is 1,000, and we can produce up to whatever range we need. Assuming we go up to 15,000, it's an assumption. We produce up to 15,000. You can go up to 20,000 in order to have a good graph. And if already you know the units, we can get our total revenue, or our total sales. Total sales or total revenue. We know total sales will be the number of units, and we multiply by what? The selling price. And we know our selling price is a constant. Here, the selling price is 10,000. I will lock the selling price because it is a constant, and I will autofill these. Yeah, all these will be our revenues that we shall be making. Those revenue. Then we can get the total variable cost. Total variable cost. So for the variable cost, the same thing. We have the units, and we have variable cost per unit. Variable cost per unit, which is 5,000. We lock that, it's a constant, and again we shall autofill that. That will be a total variable cost. Then we have the fixed cost. The fixed cost. Remember, fixed cost is a constant. Again, it was a constant of 50. We lock that, and we autofill these because it is a constant. And you can get the total cost. Total cost of production, which is the variable and the fixed. Variable plus the fixed, we get the total cost, and I will autofill that. And after getting that, you get the profit. And we know the profit is normally now the total sales minus the total cost. Total sales minus the total cost. You can go the route of contribution, yeah, whichever route, but you can have the route of contribution then the root of what you minus the fixed cost, or you minus total cost minus the total sales minus total cost, you'll get the profit. Profit or loss. Yeah, you can say the profit or loss that way, and I'll autofill that, and we'll find that at this level all these points are negative. So we have said that at this point is 0 here, where the total revenue is equal to total cost. So this will be our break-even point, the 10,000 that we had. Remember already we had identified that this point, the point there, that is our break-even point in units, which is 10,000. But remember, we need to show this on a graph. The key thing, we need to show this on a graph. So I'll highlight my units. I'll take my total sales. I'll take my fixed costs, and I'll take my total costs, and I'll take my profit or loss. That way. And I will insert, or before that, you can see this. Let me increase the font. Yeah, allow me just to increase my font size to 12. Yeah, so that it is visible. So I'll have my units, my sales, my fixed cost, my total cost, and my profit. And I will go to insert. Normally user recommended. When user recommended, it will give you the charts. Yeah, we need to use this, the line chart, which we normally call the break-even chart, the line chart. And this is our line chart, our line chart, and I can call it my break-even BP chart, my BP chart, my break-even point chart, that way. So that is my chart, where these are total sales. The fixed cost is this, which is a constant. The total cost, you can see at this particular point, yeah, this point, if I can just, yeah, this one point here, if I can show the data for that point, you can see is at 100,000. And if I can put a cursor, you can see the total cost value is 100, but the point is at 10,000. Yeah, 10,000 here, and it is where it is intersecting at this particular point, this point. Yeah, at this point the profit is 0, but still if I can show the data label here, data label, we'll find that it is showing the profit is 0. Yeah, the profit is 0, but the units are these one now. 10,000 units, 10,000 units. That's what we were supposed to show. Because that was number A. If I can show this here, this one, where you are supposed to indicate, in batches of 1,000 units, determine the break-even point in units using a graph, indicate the profit zone and loss zone. So determine the break-even point in units using the graph. And we'll find that our break-even point here, where the profit is 0, so our BEP is 10,000. Our BEP in units, is 10,000 units. 10,000 units. We have done it using calculation here, using the formula, but still on the chart you can see where they are intersecting, where the profit is 0, that is the point that the BEP, or where the total revenue equals to total cost, still that one gives you the break-even point at 10,000. And you can decide to have the if I can show, here is the units that we have. We can have the axis title. Yeah, axis title. So these are total revenue, total costs, and this one is the units. number of units. This is number of units, and here is the value, total cost and total revenue. So here we have the total. Okay, yeah, that way. So total values, yeah, so these are the total values, either the total revenue or the total cost. And there is another key thing that you're told to indicate the profit zone and the loss zone. Remember, below the 10,000 units, we are making a loss. Below the 10,000, we are making a loss, and above the 10,000, we are making a profit. So you just need to indicate whether we are making a profit or we are making a loss. That's the key thing. Yeah. And remember now that one we shall use the profit or loss. Yeah, this one. The profit or loss. The only thing we shall deal with is to adjust this. I will right click on this chart and will change the series or chart type. I'll change the series. Under the profit or loss, the line. So here remember we are using the line, so we can change this from the line and we use the area so that it can show the area where we have the profit and the area where we have the loss. You can use a stacked, this one, so that it can show that this area we have the loss. Anything above here we have the profit. So in this case now we change to use the stacked area, that way, so that this one is a profit and this one is a loss. The only thing we shall insert the shape to indicate that. Yeah, let me use this, the arrow, and by use of the arrow I just bring my arrow here and I will say that this is my profit area. Then I can copy this, copy and paste, and when we paste we can change the direction, this way, indicates that this one that you see here is my loss area, so this is the loss area, and this is the profit area. So that's what we were supposed to indicate the profit zone and the loss zone. So the loss zone, let me just change this to be the zone, loss zone, and the profit zone, that way. So that was the first part of this particular question, the first part of the question, where we were to indicate that the break-even point in units, and to indicate the profit and the loss zone, Then that's all under the first part. That's what you are required to do so that you get the 8 marks. So the second part of our question, where we need this one. So we are told the management may increase the size here to 12. That way. So the management of Sunrise Limited is evaluating various production and sales level to determine the profit after tax. Assuming a tax rate of 30%, plot a graph depicting revenue and profit after tax. So we need the profit after tax. Remember, whatever we had here, you can copy this, the entire thing. Here, I will copy and I paste it here. So this profit or loss, this is a profit or loss before tax. Whatever we had here is before tax, before any tax. Therefore, you'll include the tax at 30%, and at 30%, and we shall get the PAT, profit after tax. Yeah, profit after tax. So we know that whenever we are making a loss, there are no profit, there are no tax on losses. We don't tax the losses, especially in management accounting or in FA, apart from financial management because of the tax shield. But here now the tax will be zero. Yeah, so for this one, all these it will be zero. This one, the values should be zero because you will not get anything. Supposed to be a 0, 0, 0, 0 up to this point. We're supposed to have a 0 as our tax because there is nothing to tax. We don't tax the loss. But for this one, I'll put first our tax rate here to be 30%, 30% that way, so that where we are making a profit, that is the point we shall pay the tax. That is the point that we shall pay the tax, and I will lock that particular tax. Tax is only on profits. Tax is only on profits. The losses, we are not paying any tax. The tax will be zero. Yeah. Then the profit after tax, we shall take the profit before tax, and we minus the tax. Profit before tax minus the tax, and I will autofill, and we'll get your profit after tax. Remember, ideally, we need to plot a graph depicting the revenue, that's the total sales, and the profit after tax. So we shall show the units because they are key. We show the total sales and we show the profit after tax. And I will insert the recommended, and you'll find that are not available for the data is selected. Choose a type, so you can use all. Yeah, and for the all, I will use a column. Then column will be best to show that using the column because this is a clustered that is showing the three of them using the clustered. Yeah, this is a clustered chart, and the clustered chart in this case, so you can use these but without the data label, without the data labels. Yeah, that way. So this is a profit. This chart shows the profit, total sales and profit after tax. Total sales and profit after tax. Total sales and PAT, profit after tax chart. Yeah, total sales and profit after tax. So it shows the area where we are making. So there are some figures actually it has not picked. Yeah, there are some figures that it has not picked. The units, the units, it has not picked them correctly, and therefore I will redo that. Allow me to redo because I need it to show the units. Need it to show the units. Yeah, that way. Insert. Let me see the recommended. Yeah, because it had not captured the units correctly, that's why the recommended chart were not showing up. I think that one now is okay. With the units in place, you can still use a black one. Yeah, that way with the units in place. So still my chart title will be the total sales, and profit after tax chart. Total sales and profit after tax chart. So it will show you the total sales, the one with the blue, and the profit after tax or loss after tax. So you'll find that during the first period we are making a loss, then during the others we are making the profit, although the margins are lower, but that is the chart that you are to include or to show. Here is the units, and here is the profit, and the profit and the total sales, profit and the total sales. So this one should be PAT chart. Yeah, that way. So that is a chart that was supposed to be shown under part B, And part C can do it here. So for part C, we'll highlight this that way. And part C, the management of the company is evaluating the effect of selling various percentages above the break-even point beginning from 0% and in batches of 5% change point up to 50%. Plot a graph depicting total revenue, target profit after tax, and margin of safety. So in this case, I will still have to use my so I can use this. Yeah, this is a good one. I'll just copy this that we have here, and I'll come and paste it here. I'll come and paste it at this point. Yeah, my values that we have there. But in this case, now we are having above the BP. So I will have the range. We are told to start with 0%, in batches of 5%. The change. So 5%, and it will continue up to 50%. And you'll find that when you drag, it will go up to 50. Yeah, so if you're going up to 50%, it means there are some values that we shall do away with. Up to 50%. Yeah, 50% is that. Up to 50%. And starting the break-even at 0 is the break-even that we had. Remember, break-even point is 10,000 units. Yeah, the break-even point is 10,000 units. So this one I can do away with that way. So our break-even point is 10,000 units, and we need to be evaluating the effect of selling at various percentages above the break-even point. What if now we sell at 5% above the break-even point? What will happen to our profits? So here we shall take our break-even point, remember, is a constant, and we shall multiply now by 1 plus the change that we are having, 1 plus the change to give us 10,500. And I will drag this. I will autofill yeah, that way, because 50% of 10 is 5, so the maximum should be 15,000, 5,000 above the break-even point, 5,000 above the break-even point. And you will find that in this case now our profit will change. So here it will not be zeros the way it was. Yeah, because here now we are making a profit. We are making a profit of 250. So this one will be the value that we have by 30%. And I will drag this. Yeah, that way. So that we shall have now, the only one that we don't have a tax is the first one. The others we have the profit, the tax, and we have the profit after tax. Because we need to plot a graph depicting the target revenue. So this will be our target revenue, what we are targeting as our revenue. This is what we shall be targeting as the revenue. Then the fixed cost, we need the depicting target revenue, target profit or loss. This is the target profit or loss, after tax. This one, yeah, target profit or loss after tax. And margin of safety here, MOS, margin of safety. So when you talk about the margin of safety is equals to, so margin of safety is equal to normal sales minus sales at BP. Normal sales minus sales at BP, and this is in shillings. Margin of safety, you can either use in shillings or in percentage. So because here we are using the shillings, all the other values that we shall present them in a graph, then it's good to present it in form of shillings, our margin of safety. And therefore, in our case, what will happen? Our normal sales, they are these target sales that we are having. Break-even sales, remember, is the first one. Our break-even sales is 100,000. So margin of safety at the first point is 0, because we shall minus the same value. But we shall lock these because it will be our BP. Our BP, sales at BP will be that value. Sales at BP will be that value. And I will autofill these. I'll autofill because that is a constant. That is a constant. Yeah, that way. And we'll find that the second one, when we sell 105 as our target, we shall have a margin of safety of 5 because we are selling above the 100,000. The last one, 150, we shall have 50,000 as our margin of safety because 50,000 will be above the break-even point of that. So that is what you are required to do, the margin of safety. So we need to plot a graph depicting target revenue. We shall use now the range because we are not using the units. Then target revenue, these are our total sales. Then target profit after tax, and the margin of safety. Margin of safety, that way. We come to insert the recommended. Yeah, and you can see the recommended. You can use this one for the clustered because we are dealing with comparison. Yeah, these are clustered. Yeah, our clustered chart. Yeah, and just expand it. And I can deal with, yeah, let me deal with this one. And our chart title, you can have the margin of safety. Let me just call it that way. Margin of safety chart. Margin of safety chart. And I can show what else. You can show my axis title. Here is the range, our range, and here is our values. Yeah, here is our values. Total. So total revenue. Shall have total revenue, profit after tax, and margin of safety. Margin of safety. So those are our values that we have at that particular point. And you can see the comparison from the range. So it shows total sales, the profit after tax, and margin of safety. Margin of safety. And that is all that was required to be done on this particular question. Yeah, and remember the question was having how many marks? It was having 4 marks. Only 4 marks. So the one that had many marks is A for 8 and B for 8. So this one was just but having those 4 marks. And that's all for that particular question, number 23. Yeah, number 23, which was testing on management accounting. So continue subscribing. If you have not subscribed, kindly subscribe to this particular channel. We are on a journey to reach 1,000 subscribers and to reach many students, impact them, and make sure that they are learning, and their learning becomes easy, interactive, and enjoyable, because business data analysis is supposed to be an enjoyable unit, and we are breaking this particular concept in the simplest way possible that students will be able to understand. So when you subscribe, each and every time we post a new video, you'll be able to be the first one to get that. And you'll find that all these questions from 21 to 25, only we have tackled 23. In the course of the week, we shall tackle the others. So kindly keep on following this particular page so that whenever we post, you will be able to be the first one to get this particular content, So thank you.